Coming up live on LiveWire, we've got a great show for you today. We have some folks from California Theater Creations, and they are doing King Lear. And it opens this next weekend, so you can take a part of it. You're going to meet some of the actors and the director today. So stay tuned for LiveWire right after this. Welcome to LiveWire. I'm Ray Tatter. And with me in the studio are some folks from the California Theater Creations. Stephen Crane, who is the director of an upcoming play called King Lear, written by some English guy, William Shakespeare. It's one of his great plays, and you can see it. So welcome, sir. And
thank you.
Would you introduce your two actors here?
With great pleasure. This is Riley Nicole, who's playing Cordelia, and Harry Stoner, who is the king.
Is the king. And Cordelia is one of his daughters, right?
Yes, he has three daughters.
Three daughters. Two good. No, well, we can't give the game away, can we?
No.
Okay, we won't say that. But so it's interesting. You were walking down the street one day, sir, and you thought, "Gosh, I think I'd like to do King Lear."
No. I've directed a lot of Shakespeare's plays, but I've always stuck to the comedies. Frankly, because the tragedies kind of scare me. They are all complex and big and have very large casts in general.
So you picked this one, which is the darkest and the largest.
Yes. Well, it was an idea that came to me from a local actor who was not able to join us because he's battling an illness. But once it got rolling, increasingly we found that the play had tremendous relevance. It was really as much about the 21st century as it is about the 8th century, which is when we are placing this.
I see.
And just driving around town and going through my day-to-day life, I kept finding things in the play that resonated very strongly, and it just seemed a natural thing. And then we put out a casting call, and we ended up with the most remarkable cast of actors it's ever been my pleasure to work with.
And I wish you well with them. And when is it opening?
It opens on February 9th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll put up a card, folks, if you really want to see the play, you can write down when things are happening. It's at the California stage at 2509R, and it opens next Friday, right?
That's right.
Okay, at 7 o'clock. And who are these lovely people you brought here?
Well, as I mentioned, this is Riley Nicole and Harry Stoner, Cordelia and King Lear himself.
Okay, so let me ask you, young lady, you were walking down the street and I thought, gosh, I thought I'll be in a play. Or have you played Shakespeare before?
I've been in one other Shakespeare play with Mr. Crane, actually. It was fun. I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Good. And you, sir, you got the largest part in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just dawning on me.
And that's also one that has a ferocious character. He is ferocious.
At the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. There should be an arc, though, hopefully, where he is humbled and goes from less aggressive, more aggressive to non-aggressive at all, but a lot more vulnerable.
So King Lear's about what is it about? Well, I mean,
it's a man in his 80s and upward. I don't think he's ever been played by somebody in his 80s.
Right.
And he divides his kingdom in three to
So,
prevent strife in the
and he has
future.
3 daughters, right?
He does. Well, it doesn't really turn out the way that he thinks. So
I see.
the
So,
division is made and then really not made.
yeah.
And it just kind of all goes downhill after that.
Yeah, yeah. Shakespeare has had always an honest, huge following. There are people who are like Shakespeareans, and and then there's the couple of Shakespearean actors who founded the Renaissance Pleasure Fair and reached into the hearts of a couple of 5 generations of young people to play as if they are from Shakespeare's period. And it's a very interesting subject, how that worked. I don't know how. And, I think that, and all of the theater companies that do a general choice of plays, they always think about doing Shakespeare, but mostly none of them do King Lear. Why is that?
Complexity. It's an incredibly complex play. There is so much going on. It's really a story that focuses on 2 families and their dysfunction. And in the course of the story, both families implode and turn against one another. And in doing so, they tear apart a kingdom. And I think it has many characters that are incredibly challenging to any actor. And I think the word Harry used was arc, and I think many of the characters in this play have dramatic arcs, and by dramatic I don't mean acting, I mean fascinating, challenging, tragic in some cases. And it's a big play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and like we said, it's going to open pretty soon. February 9th?
Yes.
Okay.
And we're going to run through February and then the first weekend of March.
Okay, we have on the screen now, it's contact information for how it works, 9th through the 23rd and March 1 and 2 playing, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you can just Google the words calstage.org or CalStage, California Stage, and I think the information will come up on how you can get tickets to see the play. And fascinating. So what about your Shakespearean background, sir?
A few. I've done this play twice as Gloucester, and one at the same theater with Ed Claudio.
Oh, Ed Claudio,
shortly
yeah.
before he passed. It was his
Yeah.
swan song.
It was his swan song, and he's well loved, and
Yeah, it was wonderful with him.
Yeah.
Once up at Murphy's Creek,
Murphy's Creek.
which was nice. Brought in some SAG and equity actors up and to take on some of the roles, and it was very well done.
Good.
Don Bellotti
Yes,
played Lear.
yeah. These are well-known people you're talking about. Yeah, I like it. And so, I like the idea of having a strong cast that has played Shakespeare before, because it's a hard language to carry aloft and make seem like it's could just write it typically on the tongue, It is. And I think that if you can learn how to do that, you can play Shakespeare throughout your entire career. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Good. So I'm interested in the concept of the cast, because it's a very large cast, and there are 2 or 3 subplots going on. Is that right?
There are, because again, there are these 2 families, and each of them has their own, story and their own dysfunction, and they're falling apart at the same time, and then they intertwine and sort of catalyze one another into both further atrocities and further tragedies until a resolution is reached, which is not the happiest.
Do people die?
A lot.
I'm sure there are knives and swords and all kinds of things happening.
Yeah, we have about 6 fights in the course of the show, and we're looking at one larger battle scene, and those are very complex to do and to choreograph, and they have to be done with great care because even a stage sword is still a sword. But I think they're looking very, very good, and I think the audience will find them quite exciting.
Good. Would you suggest, I have about 30 seconds to go, we would suggest that people could bring their teenage children?
Yes, I think so. Shakespeare almost always has some jokes in it that some people might consider mildly inappropriate. But my experience is that the people who might find them mildly inappropriate don't understand them. So it's fine. But yes, I think it's very appropriate. I would even say important. And again, partially because it's great Shakespeare, partially because it is such a contemporary story, and there are lessons in it that everyone in our world needs to be aware of, to learn. I think learning compassion is certainly one of the most important.
Yes. Before the show, we talked about the possibility of getting a scene. Also, I want to thank you, Riley. Thank you very much. And we'll have a scene. Okay, we'll take a short break right now, and we'll go to our side set here in this enormous studio. Okay. All right, we're going to take a break.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Food can open endless possibilities for people to thrive. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
You are loved. You are valued. You are resilient. You got this.
You are there for them. We are here for you. Find free care guides at aarp.org/caregiving.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. High blood pressure silently affects millions of Americans. Staying on top of your blood pressure is as simple as these 4 easy steps. Self-monitoring is power. Visit manageyourbp.org to learn more.
Okay, we're back with LiveWire. Thanks. And you are just about to see Harry Stoner, actor from the California Theater Creations, who is playing King Lear, starting this next week, and Riley Nicole, who's playing his daughter. So let's have a look.
Oh, look upon me, sir, and hold your hand in benediction o'er me. No, sir, you must not kneel.
Pray, do not mock me. I am a very foolish, fond old man, 80 and upward, not an hour more or less. Tell thee plainly, I fear I am not in my perfect mind. Methinks I should know you, yet I am doubtful, for that I am mainly ignorant what place this is. And all the skills I have, remember not these garments, nor I know not where I did lodge last night. Do not laugh at me, for as I am a man, I think you are my child, Cordelia.
And so I am. I am.
Be your tears wet? Yes, Faith. I pray, weep not. If you have poison for me, I will drink it. I know you do not love me, for your sisters have, as I remember, done me wrong. You have some cause, they have not.
No cause. No cause.
Am I in France?
Wilt please your highness walk?
You must bear with me. I pray you now. Forget and forgive. I am old and foolish.
Bravo. Thank you. This is King Lear, a scene from King Lear. Now we'll take a short break. Back with Ray Tatter. How short was that? With me in the studio here are three more actors from that company. There is Monica Behar.
How do you do?
So what character are you playing?
I am playing the character of Edmund.
I see.
And Edmund is the son of Gloucester. He's a nobleman.
Tyler Anderson.
Hi there.
And you playing one of the...
I'm the Earl of Kent.
Earl of Kent, okay. Ooh. And Cameron, the guy?
Nye. And
Nye, okay.
I'm a fool.
You're the fool.
Right, in the play I
Oh, yeah,
play.
so no, I know the fool. It's a major character in the
Right.
play.
Right.
Okay, well, I thought we were going to take a short break and throw some interesting community information to you, but heck yeah, we could just talk for a while. Okay. So you're all playing different roles. Can you tell me about your role and what it does?
Yes, so my role, Edmund, he is one of the sons of a nobleman, Gloucester, and he is a bastard. And so his brother is not. His father was married to his mother, and so he has the right to the land when his father dies.
I see.
Edmund does not. So he devises a plan how he can obtain that land or take it. And he sees the problem in the family of Lear, and so he weaves his what would we call it, his device to control the land of his fathers while that problem is going on at the house of Lear. And so he is, could be called a villain or an evil character, but, it's society that has driven him to that because of the laws of society say he can't inherit the land since he is a bastard.
Oh, I see.
But so he...
Luckily, there aren't any laws like that here in America.
Right, and women can own land too. So maybe Edmund's view was not entirely terrible, but he does some terrible things in order to get that land.
Whoa.
That's his quest, anyway.
All right. That's a bad quest. Okay, Tyler, tell me about your character.
Well, Kent is essentially trying his best to be the Jiminy Cricket to King Lear. Give him the best counsel that he can so that he doesn't have anything undue happen to him. Unfortunately, sometimes that gets taken the wrong way. And so he has to weave his way back in to work for the king's best interests, whether he likes it or not.
Yeah. You wonder about, how business, how government works, and I have worked for government for 26 years here, and I could see there were people weaving their way with some of the leaders of the organization that I worked for. And it just seemed, sometimes it was so obvious and so silly, it was something, you would laugh at.
Well, we gotta hope for some subtlety somewhere.
That's right. Okay, and Cameron, you're interesting character is one of the great characters, I think, in Shakespeare, and he always has a fool somewhere.
Right, right. So I hear that Shakespeare typically uses the fool as the person who is able to say the things that no one else can say, because everyone else is constrained by society and such things. But the fool, he can say whatever he wants. So in this case, the fool's in a very position as Kent, a very similar position to Kent. He is acting as the king's conscience, because the king makes some fairly foolish decisions, and so the fool can relate to that and can talk to him about
Foolish,
that.
yeah, I get it.
And the difference between the fool and Kent is because the fool's a fool, he can say that, and there's no problem with it. The king actually enjoys it. So he's the only one who can really actually get to the king with these observations.
So it's a kind of interesting political statement. He probably says some things that are so true that are, some of the ills of the way the system works too.
Right, definitely. And there's a whole monologue that I give on such things.
Personality traits of some of the folks who were standing around watching you can't do anything to you.
Right.
Geez, we should have a character like that in American government, don't you think?
We do.
We'll take a short break, right? We do. You're right. Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, I think it's fun. And when does this open? It opens coming up.
Well, it's going to open up on Friday, February 9th. And we're very excited about it.
And then, we just put up a card that tells you you're right. There it is, February 9th. And it actually goes through the 23rd and also plays March 1st and 2nd. And it has a Sundays at 2 if you're watching and you don't like to go out late at night in downtown Sacramento. You can go on Sunday at 2, and it's wonderful. And so it's at californiastage.org is how you can get your tickets. I can see that. Or there's something called facebook.com, but don't worry about that. Good. And let me ask you just one more question about past Shakespeare in your life. I mean, you like doing Shakespeare? Is that something that drew you into it? Because I have this theory about people who work in Shakespeare, for Shakespeare companies, theater companies, they're really drawn into the language of Shakespeare and what it teaches, and the storylines and the characters. Are you all three like that?
I know I am.
Right. Yeah. When I was a young adult, I was fearful of it. But now I really like diving in and peeling back the layers and not only understanding the character, but also how that character speaks kind of lends itself to learn more about it and what that character says. And especially if you have a really juicy part like the villain, like I get to play, it's a lot more fun because I can't be like that in everyday life, so it is really
so
fun
you're
and
getting all that negative energy out, right? Yeah. Whoa, dudes.
Yeah.
Okay, what about you?
Well, I actually made my community theater debut with Shakespeare. I was Laertes in Hamlet, so that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I found the language to be just so fascinating, and I've tried doing at least one Shakespeare every year afterwards.
Good man. Okay, so I think we need this kind of work, Shakespeare, and so there are people who wrote alongside him, and we did at one of the theater companies. They did a number of plays that were part of the Shakespeare. What do you call it? They don't know if Shakespeare wrote it all, but and the readings were quite wonderful. And what about you?
So I'm in a similar position that Riley was in, who was here a little earlier. Mr. Crane was my history teacher. He got me into the Shakespeare game with playing Fest, another fool, from Twelfth Night. And that's my only experience prior to this of a full-on production. But I was actually involved in a couple of those readings as well. So my only experience right now is with Shakespeare. And I do very much enjoy it. I think I very much agree. It is hard. And for me, I enjoy performing because when you're forced to actually engage with the material in that manner, you start to understand it, I think, more deeply than you can when you're just watching it. Wow. And so I very much enjoy that, and you can really and the lyricism is very nice as well. It sounds pretty as you say it.
Good. So we have 2 minutes left, and what I really want to ask this final question, which is, what are you doing the play?
What do I do in the play?
No, yeah.
What do I do?
Yeah.
I look at the scenes in front of me. I see the falling apart of Lear's family. I try to figure out how I can remove my brother Edmund from the land and come in my father's favor. And also, I devise a plan that makes my brother look awful. But really, my character, Edmund, is the awful one.
Is the awful one.
Yes.
Wow.
And so I am working my story in my head and on the stage.
That's great.
To get rid of my
Bravo.
brother and take over.
So this is a pretty evil, there's a lot of evil going on in this play, right? Is you're an evil character?
Oh, I try to be the best person I can be.
Okay. What about yours?
Well, unless you're one of the people worried about people hearing crude jokes, I wouldn't consider my character evil.
Okay. So should people come and see this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I do want to just say a couple of things.
Well, we got 1 minute.
Okay.
Go ahead. Say one thing.
I just want to say that Phil Ryder, who passed away recently, he was someone that I call on to understand some of the Shakespeare pieces that I had done in the past, and I did study a little bit with Matt K. Miller, who's also from Sacramento, and I just want to give him a little credit to both those men.
I'm sure they're pleased with that. Okay, that's all the time we have here on LiveWire. We do this every week, and you can tune in again and meet with people like these wonderful artists from our town. Okay? Oh, there you are. Hi. Bye. See you now.
Thank you.